Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. Great to be learning again with you. Our presentation today is entitled On the Laws of Life 9, the Law of Vibration. Now, the law of vibration is always at work within us and all around us. The Pythagoreans realized this through their experiments with vibrations, including the monochord, and that number and geometry underlie all creation. We'll consider how the law of vibration is applied in some of the key Rosicrucian exercises to help bring us into the enriching and healing state of Harmonium. Now, to begin, we'll have a meditation first, but as our custom, we'll use a particular image on a slide that I think you'll find quite conducive to our work today and quite relevant in the history of the Rosicrucian order. I'll get it up here in a moment. There, what you'll be seeing before you now is the Temple of Music from Robert Flood's book, Etruria Cosmi Historia from 1624. In a way, it's a wonderful tour de force exemplifying the law of vibration. You'll see many, many different aspects to do with vibration in it and music. Music is fundamentally about vibration, as is all phenomena throughout the arts. You'll notice in the upper level here in the tower that there's Apollo, and he has his lyre. From ancient times, he's said to have had a 7-string lyre to do with the 7 cadence of the universe, the 7-fold cadence of the universe. And there's a monochord here that I alluded to before in regard to the Pythagoreans. Very simple demonstration that we can do in our homes as well with a taunt string when it's plucked, whether it be could be made of various materials. And you'll notice that the notes here, but also moving up into higher octaves with the G's as a doubling of vibrations. Similarly here, we have a demonstration of an early Pythagorean experiment that has come down to us to do with the pounding of hammers and the sounds that are made thereof, again, following number and geometry of underlying music. The lute that Robert Flood was greatly taken with as a wondrous music. He actually wrote a text on the Temple of Music. I'll give you a reference in our resources that will be given to you later from Professor Jocelyn Godwin on this particular work, the Temple of the Music, and the larger text that it is part of. In a way, this was a mnemonic device, that is a memory device where you could place different pieces of information in an architectural space, either real or visualized, that allows you to remember various facts and figures and theoretical considerations and applications associated with the form of architecture seen here, the Temple of Music. In a way, we'll rise up in the Temple of Music when we have our meditation period today. To prepare for our meditation, I invite you to, if you're seated, to get comfortable in your chair. If you're lying down, to get comfortable. And take a little more time to have a look at the Temple of Music. You notice the application of number here, the various proportions that are associated with music. Similarly, as a string was shortened by half, it would go to the next upper octave, for example. Where a string was plucked, in half or thirds or quarters, would determine harmonics. Rosicrucians have a beautiful term, harmonium, to describe the music on all levels of our being in an environment, the harmonious relations of the part to the whole. How the body and its organs move together, what would be called traditionally the musica humana, which Flood was aware of, and in part depicts in the Temple of Music. But also the musica instrumentalis, the music of instruments that are exemplified here on various, the 6 instruments exemplified here, as well as the lute and the lyre. There is also the music that is associated with the harmony of the spheres, the musica mundana, and ultimately the musica divina, the entire music of God, encompassing all forms of music that we seek to attune with, to fulfill our true natures and be one with. So with these inspiring thoughts and vision before us, you may wish to close your eyes now, and we'll begin our meditation period. Just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath, which is part of the music of the body, and it's a vibration. The incoming and the outgoing of the breath forms a wave, and has a particular period and frequency. We'll discuss more about those concepts later in the presentation. And you may wish to extend the exhalation to stimulate the vagus nerve, one of the many nerves that we learn about in the Rosicrucian weekly monographs and teachings. When the vagus nerve is stimulated by the prolongation of our outgoing breath, the relaxation response occurs. Relaxation is fundamental to healing. It's a necessary part of healing. When we're stressed, we cannot heal or not heal well. When we relax, it hastens the healing process. I think you may find too that there's a special tingling in your extremities of your body, in your hands, fingers, toes, and your feet. The vital life force, the VLF, referred to in some traditions as the prana, in others as the chi, flowing through the body. Again, our Rosicrucian lessons teach us about it and how it's on a much higher octave, what Rosicrucians call the cosmic keyboard, vibrations. All part of the law of vibration. When we understand the law of vibration, its applications, we're more able to be sensitive and aware, to know how to heal and how to perform our Rosicrucian exercises, such as visualization, metaphysical aid, the sending of healing, how to attune in meditation. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. If you find your mind wandering, just lovingly and gently bring it back to the discipline of the breath. A very simple act, but a very profound one. As we increasingly understand the great laws and principles of life, we're astonished by their simplicity. And when they're applied in myriad ways, it leads to the great diversity out of the unity we see all around us in creation and throughout the holy temple of the body. These inspiring conceptions, let us just continue. Focus on our breath in a way that stills the outer mind so we can go deeper and deeper within ourselves. The divine within, the master within, our true nature and guide in life. Now, having applied the law of vibration, the law of duality, and the law of purification, I invite you to ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum. We'll apply the law of purification one more time through the following prayer and invocation, which I invite you to say along with me. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum and attune in pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, let us use all our inner psychic faculties and imaginative capacity to rise up through all the vibrational levels, octaves of the cosmic keyboard. Let us visualize ourselves rising up above our home or dwelling or building. See it below us and continue to rise up in your surrounding neighborhood. And then above the city or town or geographic area where you are. And then up over your province and state and see the weather systems and landforms below, their beauty and grandeur of the temple of the earth. All this phenomena vibrating so we can sense it both inwardly and outwardly, psychically and physically. Let us continue to rise up and feel the exhilaration of the ascent over our great nation or country, and now the hemisphere where we dwell, and now the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the great sphere or oblate spheroid. See all the waters of the oceans and seas, great weather systems, browns and greens of the continents, revolving about its axis, which in a way is a vibration with a particular period and frequency. As the moon revolves about the earth, we continue to rise up higher and higher, increasingly sensing the great range of vibration psychically and physically, going faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light, taking in the entire solar system, its vibrations from the planets, radiating back to them psychically what they're directing to us psychically, all part of the harmony of the spheres, the musica mundana. Let us continue to rise up past the great fiery ball of the sun, the various cycles it follows through its sunspots and other ways. Let us continue upward, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent, sensing the entirety of the cosmos vibrating. The Rosicrucians have a beautiful term. It's used as a noun and an adjective, the cosmic, to signify the universal intelligence back of the cosmos and its great system and order, but all natural and spiritual laws which we are applying, including the law of vibration now. Let us continue to rise up higher and higher, right out of our great home, the Milky Way galaxy, looking back at its beautiful motions and colors and higher rates of vibrations that we pick up psychically on octaves of the keyboard is of the cosmic. Continue to rise up, seeing myriad stars, rogue planets, and interstellar gases and nebulae and black holes help balance the universe. See not only individual galaxies and stars, but the great clusters of galaxies revolving about their axes. And not only clusters of galaxies, but many, many clusters of galaxies together. Astrophysicists and astronomers call superclusters. Hence the spectacular system and order as we speed at a tremendous rate, way beyond the speed of light, transcending space and time, enjoying this great vibrational experience. Everything being sensed to us through vibration, which is ultimately number and geometry emphasized by the Pythagoreans, mystics of time immemorial. Start increasingly to sense not only the vibrations of the cosmos, but its revolving of its own frequency and period about a great cosmic axis. Take in this stupendous harmony and order of the cosmos. For as we rise up higher and higher, we apply the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As we go higher and higher, we go deeper and deeper within ourselves to the infinite plane. It mirrors the finite plane as we rise up into the cosmos. The outer experience of the cosmos allows us to attune the higher rates of vibration on the cosmic keyboard and ultimately sense the infinite plane, of which the finite plane is but an expression or a projection into space, time, and vibration. Or as Dr. H. Spencer Lewis pointed out, the fourth dimension can be viewed as vibration, or if you wish to include time, can be viewed as the fifth dimension, as a vibrational rate that's present at that location in space-time, in that particular expression, whether it be minerals, organic material, the human body, and so forth. So we've risen up higher and higher since now the great cosmic axis and moved to its midpoint. When we reach close to it, slow up and enjoy all around you the great vibrations and wave-like actions of the cosmos. Different wavelengths, different frequencies, all one great harmonious whole. And here let us apply the instructions of the booklet, Liber 777, and visualize our own personal celestial sanctum, our own sacred space. Maybe an inspiring place in nature, the temple of music that we saw depicted through the book of Robert Flood, or maybe some inspiring temple on earth, such as the Grand Temple of the Grand Lodge at Rosicrucian Park in San Jose, California. Feel in all your impressions of your sacred space. You may wish to picture those on this conference call with us. Grand Lodge officers of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, the Supreme Grand Lodge officers, Grand Masters and the Imperator, are maybe conducting a special convocation at the heights of the celestial sanctum at this time. The visible and invisible masters. Maybe a sense incense rising up just like we rose up in the cosmic. Rising up at different levels of the cosmic keyboard, octave after octave after octave. I should see beautiful stained glass or other artwork symbolizing mystical laws and principles of the Rosicrucians. And when we filled in to all the impressions of your sacred space, the heights of the celestial sanctum, the center of the cosmos, the center of your being, release your visualization, its vibrational form, through the subconscious into the cosmic. And dwell in peace profound as we apply the law of silence for a period. Silence is very enriching to the very depth core of our being. The wondrous vibrations enriching and ennobling us. Now, for others and sorors and participants, let us again apply the law of vibration, the law of attunement, is at the cosmic level, the law of cosmic attunement, but also now the law of service. I invite you to participate in the work, the Silent Council, in conjunction with the Council of the Soulless, the Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, by radiating love and well-being to all those who have petitioned the Grand Lodge for healing and guidance. Sense it as the great vibrations of love and well-being emanating out from your mind and your heart, in the depths of your being, through the divine within, to all those who've petitioned. So, and all those you know who are in need of guidance and healing. And radiate love and well-being to them, as well as To all who have petitioned our affiliate bodies of the Rosicrucian order for love and guidance. And to all those sentient beings throughout the cosmos for need of love and healing, radiate the vibrations of love and well-being to them through our mind and hearts, the depths of our being. Gradually surrender and let the divine within overtake this spiritual operation. Just as we felt the exhilaration arising to the heights of celestial sanctum, feel now the exhilaration, this flow of vibrations of the highest order going through us. To all in need, at a certain point, I think you'll find that the radiation speed up and you know it's reaching those in need. The need is great, but the resource is infinite on the finite, from the finite plane going into the infinite plane or tapping into. At a certain point, I think you'll no longer need to make any conscious effort. The divine within take over completely as we surrender and be receptive to it. Soon we'll formally close this period of metaphysical aid, but we'll continue our meditation. As we close, we'll be assured that this is a way of life and part of our mission. Radiate love and well-being at all times is a way of life. We've kindled the fire now, but we'll let it burn throughout our day and nights. Formally conclude, I invite you to say with me, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done, so mote it be. Now let us continue to apply the law of cosmic attunement and meditation a while longer. Let your mind expand to fill the cosmos, just as we radiate love and well-being out. Let your mind absorb, become one with the cosmic mind. Shift from the finite plane to the infinite plane further in this way. Continue to surrender. Be the cosmic mind. Experience as the cosmic mind experiences. Assume the cosmic mind now. Soon we'll formally conclude this period of meditation. Assured that its effects, both immediate and cumulative, will continue to enrich and ennoble us. help heal us and all those we come in contact with. It's a way of life. Most deepest and most meaningful way. Before we descend from the heights of celestial sanctum, fratres and sorors and participants, we may wish to invoke the law of gratitude. Thank those who have taught you well, who sacrificed for your well-being on your behalf, who have loved you well, who set a great example that behooves us to follow for the rest of our lives through the guidance of the divine within. Now let us begin our descent. Tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, past the wondrous display of superclusters of galaxies, having within them clusters of galaxies, within them myriad galaxies and stars and stellar phenomena and nebula. Sensing as we do the great vibrations of our music, the spheres, tremendous system and order and interconnections throughout the cosmic keyboard on all its octaves. Let us see in the distance the supercluster that is our home. And let us plunge into it. Feel the exhilaration of the tremendous speed and the beauty and harmony. See the myriad clusters of galaxies revolving about within it. And see in the distance the cluster of galaxy that is our home. And enter into it, the myriad stars and galaxies around it. And see in the distance the Milky Way galaxy, our great home spiraling. And enter into the Milky Way galaxy, past the myriad stars and quasars and pulsars, rogue planets and asteroids, black holes balancing the universe. See in the distance the wondrous beauty and elliptical orbits of our solar system. Great fiery ball of the sun, beautiful blue jewel, the temple of the earth. As we approach the hemisphere where we left off, and now the continent, the great nation or country, province or state, city or town, geographic area, we can say together, applying the law of vibration, the law of gratitude, and law of purification, and the law of cosmic attunement. May God of my heart sanctify the attunement of self with the celestial sanctum, so mote it be. Let us continue down through our neighborhood, the building or dwelling or home where we left off, back in the room, in the seat or bedroom situation where we are, feeling remade, rested, re-energized, rejuvenated, all the more ready for the work and worship of the order and our mission in life. And you may wish to stretch and open your eyes, and we'll continue our presentation. Fratres and sorors and participants. Thank you. Now let us continue to discuss the law of vibration. You'll see it before you now as an undulating keyboard. The artist has given both the sense of the cosmic keyboard, but also the great vibrations that are associated with the cosmic keyboard. In a way, the mastery of life is about being a master pianist, being able to access the different octaves that we need for whatever we need to do in our lives to be of service and fulfill our mission in life. Indeed, our weekly lessons of the Rosicrucian monographs is to this very heart and purpose. Let us consider a little more technically the nature of vibration and waves. You'll see before us here something I think you'll recall maybe from high school, physics possibly, a sinusoidal curve, a curve going up and down in its beautiful motions. The tops is the crest, the lower parts, technically the trough. From trough to trough, like one trough to an immediate other is the wavelength, same with one crest to other, that's the wavelength. you'll find there's the rest position in the middle, a straight line. And above it, that's the amplitude. The amount below is also the amplitude. The axis along the right is the time. The vertical axis is the displacement, whatever phenomena that we're dealing with. The time may be measured in seconds or some other unit. It still is equivalent. Related to this as well is some other concepts that are valuable to know and that are covered in our Rosicrucian monographs. That is the concept of a period. That's the time to complete one full cycle. For example, how long did it take to go from the crest to the crest? Is it 1 second? Like if your heartbeat is 60 cycles per second for 60 cycles per minute, I should say, then it's 1 cycle per minute. I should say 1 cycle per second. Then frequency is the number of cycles per second. Sometimes it's a fraction of cycles per second, or many hundreds or thousands cycles per second, depending on the phenomena. I'll give you some resources about this, but we know that the phenomena of cycles per second is also technically referred to as hertz cycles per second. And so various things to do with visible light or hearing, or the hour or month, the number of seconds in them, or the lifespan of a human, and so forth. These are all related to different frequencies and different periods that we learn about in our Rosicrucian studies, and that you may have studied in physics or engineering or through your own interests. We also know through phenomena that particularly been known for mystics for centuries through a sensitivity of our psychic nature, that there's vibrations that have a much higher rate. We think about the heartbeat, as I mentioned before, is 1 cycle per second, but some brain waves are around 10 cycles per second, depending on the type. The human hearing, it ranges from, depending on the phenomenon and the person, can go from 100 cycles per second up to 10,000 cycles per second. But then there's also radio waves and microwave and infrared and visible light and ultraviolet and X-rays and gamma rays, and beyond, even higher up on the octaves of the cosmic keyboard, that we can subtly sense through psychic fashion. Now, these matters can also be viewed as very slow vibrations. For example, cycles of the Earth and its rotation, approximately 24 hours. You can view that as a very slow vibration. But also the lunar month is a very even slower, over approximately 28 days. Or the year orbiting around the sun, or the 11-year sunspot cycle, and so forth. The great periods of geological age and so related. All of these are a very inspiring nature, but understood fundamentally through this phenomena that we see before us, the wave and the frequency and the period. Now, waves can be very simple. We learn about sine and cosine waves in high school, but they can also get summed together. You know, also longer wavelengths than the one here, but the same, notice the same amplitude. If they're summed together, or they can actually take on this form that you'll see here. You'll notice that the parts that are higher here together tend to get here and here as they match up. They become even higher than the amplitude of one unit here. But there's also places where they cancel. You notice here and here, or become even lower here, from here to here. So many of the phenomena that we experience all around us, physically and psychically, are more complex wave phenomena like this. I know some of you have studied physics and engineering or applied math or pure math, know about Fourier series, and tells about how any type of function, wave phenomena, whether it looks like a wave or not, can be a sum through Fourier series of sines and cosines. And it's a very beautiful formula here, very imaginative, very creative. The sigma here is a summation notation of whole numbers going from 1 to infinity that are signed up with cosines of various nature. To me, what the multiplier here is of n from whole numbers, and also various features to do with the length L here. This here is a very simple addition. We only needed 2 types of sines and cosines. Here is exemplified here, expressed as a sine or cosine. This is another sine or cosine. I didn't have to have an infinite number of sum of cosines and sines. But what's a very important message to get from this is that any function can be expressed as a sum sines or cosine, or be expressed as the sums of waves. So that's how we understand that all is vibrational in a way it's beautifully expressed in this various concise law and formula. You notice here, I think you'll see the action of 2 waves coming forward and going right through each other. But at a certain point, there's superimposition. Just like we meditated together, there can be a raising of vibrations and raising of impact or energy. They're not canceling each other out. They go through each other in a very beautiful way. This is something to keep in mind when we attune with the cosmic, with others, or come into a very sacred place, like during a lodge convocation, how there's an increased energy and attunement with the cosmic. Here's another wave-like phenomenon I want to show you. For simplicity purposes, we'll keep this one wave fixed in the image and the relative motion compared to this middle wave to it. You notice as they are summed together, at a certain point, they cancel each other out and they're at rest. And this lower wave pins itself onto the straight line below it, or they cancel out. But there's certain points the wave rises up higher again, and there's an actual adding of the 2 waves together. The crest to crest match up, or the trough to trough match up, like here, you'll see it. But when the crest and the trough match up here, for example, we have the flat. These are very special phenomena to be aware of, and that I'll describe in further detail on how we apply them in our Rosicrucian studies and exercises. Another way I want to show you about here is, some of you may recall in high school physics doing experiments with a ripple tank. And there's simple ways you can make a ripple tank at home if you like. Here's some special instruments that are provided for a high school or university physics lab. You notice there's the light above here, and we have a piece of wood or other material that vibrates on top of a shallow pool of water. That causes this vibrating up and down, this wood piece here, you can make it go at different rates. You can set it by the instrument over here, fast or slow, for example, adjust how it's plunging in and out of the water. That causes these standing waves, or this ripple effect, to occur here. The light up above is used because down, especially when you have a darkened room, you'll see this much more easily on the floor below these lines. I remember doing this as demonstrated experiments at a Rosicrucian affiliate body. We turned the lights off in the large Perneus room, and I had set up on a table a glass pie plate that you could see through, and underneath that pie plate was a flashlight stood up, and the pie plate was held up over the flashlight by being held in a cardboard box with a circular hole at the top that the pie plate could sit in. And then as one touched or vibrated the water, even lightly, up on the top of the ceiling, you could see these large waves moving about. You could even test out other forms of vibrations, for example, with vowel sounds that we'll talk about in a moment. I remember once, though, and this is where it's helpful to have this knowledge of physics, that when past Grand Master, Robert E. Daniels, was giving a stress management workshop for the order as a public event. That when he spoke to us, and this was in a large ballroom in a hotel, and often the lighting conditions in ballrooms and hotels are quite conducive to seeing the human aura, where the finite plane and the infinite plane merge. And there was various times when he spoke, you could see this beautiful, enriching purple aura well extended from him. And as he moved, as he talked, you could see the aura move gradually to catch up with his physical body. And the beautiful purple aura, of course, is associated with one that is highly spiritualized in their nature, quite conducive to the experience and the expression of wisdom. But I also saw during that time when he presented during the day, quite a surprising thing that I've worked to fathom through for years. And it was that at times, there was, as he stood and presented, like you're seeing these standing waves, there was large bands that were vertical, and they were in the same beautiful purple as his aura, but they were moving out at a tremendous pace out from him. These bands are vertical rectangles, the spaces between them. It was years later that I realized part of what was going on, and the tremendous, that this was a phenomenon I had seen in a physics lab but much further up the cosmic keyboard in octaves. But that evening, he was about to assist as a Grand Master to raise a chapter to the status of a lodge, affiliated body in the Rosicrucian order, and that he was raising the vibrations for that event for all that would participate in it. It would come through him as the divine within and be assisted by the Imperator and others. So it's not to self-aggrandizement of any individual, but these are the things that we come into realize when we apply the law of vibration, of truly how remarkable it is to be a human being, especially when we attune with the cosmic. Now, in a fun way, I want to show you now another application of vibration. It's also associated with our mystical laws and principles. Here, for example, we have a fun experiment that you can do at home, but I've also done it in Amorc affiliate bodies, where you can take, for example, a can. It could be a big tomato juice can. Yes, we're being very down to earth here. And you can cut out the top and the bottom, so you still have this open cylinder. And then you can take a membrane, you can stretch over. It could be a large balloon, and stretch it very tight and hold it on like with elastic bands or some other media. And so you've got like a tight drum here. And then you can glue on a reflective piece. It could be like the reflective piece of aluminum foil or a mirror. And then set it on a table, have it very still, and don't let it get pushed or moved. And in the room, have a flashlight that reflects onto that mirror or a reflective piece, and then is reflected off on the wall. And then when one speaks and vibrates the membrane by speaking into the can, you see that the motion that's on the membrane from the vibrations of our voice are greatly magnified by the reflection on the wall, because just a slight movement of the mirror here by the membrane vibrating inside the can is greatly magnified up here. And it's very interesting in experiments we did in affiliate bodies with different sacred vowel sounds or mantras. You may know them as the order, such as Om. They have different ways of vibrating the membrane, and hence the beautiful geometric action that's on the wall here. You may wish to try this at home or in your affiliate bodies. It's something of great import and interest. Here's another experiment to do with vibration. Many of them are from our childhood. The stretched string that's taut between two cans, and two persons, they can be much further apart than this. It could be 60 feet apart or 30 feet apart. The string could be waxed even to help with the conveyance, and that you have a hole punched in the bottom of the can, but it's open at the other end. You tie the string through with a knotted inside, pull taut. And as one person speaks inside the can, lo and behold, the vibrations of voice, complex vibrations, somewhat like we saw some by the Fourier series, will then go through vibrating the string, and the person at the other end will then actually be able to hear those vibrating string translated into hearing the human voice. And you can do interesting things like trying a larger can here on the left and on the right and see how that changes things. I know as a child, this experiment made a very deep impression of me that we could then apply later certain mystical law and applications of the Rosicrucian order and work. Here's another exemplification we've done in our affiliate bodies, but also that are in the earlier Rosicrucian manuals, the Chaldney plate after the Fisness Chaldney. Here you can take a plate that could be metal or it could be glass or some other stiff medium, and you can have it well fixed in the center so it isn't dampened so much around its edges or elsewhere, and take a violin bow and draw it on it. And you can have some particulate substance like sand or sugar or salt. Here the demonstration is fixing the points here with the thumb and a finger, and that then causes those points to be nodes or places of rest. And so as you vibrate the string, the random, what appears to be the random or evenly spaced sand on the plate looks like it's almost growing as it vibrates, and it goes into these different geometric patterns, depending where we're dampening it on the edges and sides, and you get myriad patterns like this. This is a way as like our thoughts going out from ourselves. The thoughts have wings in our order, and various vibrational phenomena in our body going into 2 dimensions. Earlier, we looked at the waves and like a vibrating rope and thinking of it more like 1-dimensional along the string, though in a certain sense it's 2-dimensional in its amplitude going up and down. But here, in extent, in the width and the length, and the wonderful different shapes and beautiful phenomena that are, in a way, phenomena like this are all around us, and as our body vibrates and phenomena around us vibrate. I wanted to show you a profound mystical application of this. I remember at a conference I was at the University of Durham 20 years ago. It was about the 900th anniversary of the beginning of building of Durham Cathedral, that medieval cathedral. And there was various presentations to do with that medieval culture from around that time. And a person gave a presentation talking about a poem about Durham, but he also mentioned as part of it that that poem was following earlier precedents, for example, in medieval literature and the Bible, that, for example, the prologue to the Gospel of John 1:1-5 speaks about the dynamic word going forth to form creation, just like the Chaldney plate being vibrated. It then forms these different geometric patterns like we see throughout us in creation. Here, the very text of that prologue of the Gospels of John is set up in a vibrational phenomena way. You see, in the beginning was the Word. We'll have in English, we'll have in Greek, we'll have in Latin, and various, in particular English translation. But the original Greek, as followed here in the English, was set up that when that text was read or even chanted or sung, it would suggest the vibration of creation, like a microcosm that we are mirroring the creation as the macrocosm. And if something would be stated and then restated in opposite order, say, in the beginning was the Word. So the vibration is going forward. And the Word was with God, and God was the Word. He was in the beginning. But you notice A here, this first statement, A1 is mirrored in A prime, in the beginning with God. You know, and it goes throughout that from 2 and 2 prime, 4 and the word. So we have this profound statement made, and then it's said again in reverse order. But this is like the rising of the vibration and the coming down of the vibration, and then the rising of the vibration again, and coming down. And similar, like all things done through him were made, and without him was made not one thing. So you see the statement and the reinstatement. And similarly, what was made in him, life, and the life was the light of men. And the light in the darkness shines, and the darkness has not overcome it. So the very expression conceptually was vibrational, but also the very saying of it and its construction was vibrational, harmonized. We notice too in another profound mystical way that the traditional 5 phases of the mystical life that we've had presentations on in Rosicrucian TV that I'll give you a reference to if you wish to find. They're like great wave action over the course of our life. The awakening period that we go through, a new idealism still, but the purgation and the self-discipline period to, just as we had purified ourselves to rise up into the cosmic for illumination. That period of self-discipline, learning and growing and studying, helps lead us to illumination rising up again like a great wave action over the course of our years of our life. And then the great challenges and purification, the dark night of the soul, or the obscure night, again, a great period of purification, but rising up so we can then recently surrender to the divine within and be one with the one in mystical union and have that constant rapport with the cosmic. You see, here's another profound way that all these vibrations assist us. And our lives in the universe are permeated with vibrations, are the great way we make connections. Another thing I think you may have done in childhood and made a strong impression of me to help understand mystical laws and principles and psychic phenomena was the crystal radio. No battery is needed and it works with a crystal. That in itself is quite profound. Applies the law of vibration, the law of attunement. You may remember if you made one, you wrapped copper wires around and around a tube many, many times. And it was hooked up in this way with ground, a detector, headphones, an antenna, maybe outside one's home or going out one's bedroom window. Here's an older crystal radio set, and you can see the wound coil here. As we move the slide along here, we actually attune with different rates of vibration in the AM radio dial. And I thought that was quite fascinating because that's what we do when we do cosmic attunement, where we tune with psychic phenomena. We're like on the radio tuner. We're shifting it along to get at a different rate of vibration. And we move up the cosmic keyboard octaves in that fashion. Again, I know H. Spencer Lewis was imperator of our order. He was a master of electronics and applications of electricity, and often would give us as his students descriptions with electrical apparatus to help our outer minds understand more innerly what was going on. But these are not only analogies, but they're in a way they're applications at a much higher rate of vibrations, much higher rates of vibrations on the octave. Just like a C note on one octave is a C note much higher up in the octaves, but it's still the same type of vibrational phenomena that's at work. You'll see here an early version of the cosmic keyboard. I'll give you a reference from this from 1923. It has on it 60 octaves, and it's drawn in a circular fashion associated with a 12-fold design with the zodiacal signs that past imperator H. Spencer Lewis tells us about are associated with those different octaves. Later, the cosmic keyboard would have 140 octaves on it, and the 12 squared quite befitting in the 12-fold cadence of the universe. But these vibrations we learned to work with in all levels. You know, it's striking that this in one of the apocryphal Acts of John that has the Master Jesus, the Master Yeshua, with his disciples stand around him at the center, and they recite certain hymns, including ending with Amen, associated with the vowel sound Om. And there's a tremendous building up, superposition of waves. We've conducted as a Rosicrucian exercise in some of our affiliate bodies, and I'll give you a reference on it if you're inclined to try it, if you haven't already. It's one of the various ways that mystical phenomena are vibrational in nature. In our Rosicrucian studies and also the associated Rose Croix journal, there was a very intriguing article recently by Roger Franz entitled The Grand Hourglass of Time, a Unified View of Vibrations. And here we see before the design he's proposed to extend the cosmic keyboard, the sun symbol here that you're associated, you know about, and the earth symbol here to symbolize different rates of vibration, from very, very tiny fractions, cycles per second, to a very large number of vibrations, cycles per second of the different phenomena we discussed earlier, from the physical through the psychic to the mystical. This diagram can be used in meditation to move through the cosmic keyboard and attune with the cosmic. Similarly to it, there are various applications of cycles in our order. I know many of you have very much enjoyed the book by past imperator H. Spencer Lewis that's entitled self-mastery, and fate with the cycles of life. And Anne Nordhaus-Bike, in an article in the Rose Quad Journal, talks about the mystical astrology behind self-mastery and fate with the cycles of life. If you want to see more about vibrations over over the various time periods in our life, such as the course of our day, course of the week, over the year, over the course of our life, and so forth. Another article I mentioned, the Rose Quad Journal, before we finish up, is actually by Christopher Erickson, in an inspiring article entitled "Shakespeare in Tune with the Symphony of Nature in a Single Note: The Birth of the Fair Youth," where he relates cosmic consciousness and the principle of resonance with vibration in a wonderful way that may be of interest to you. Now, by way of concluding, and we'll have some time for some questions and comments, I'll also give, at this time, Karen can post for you the resources in the chat. Both, I think it'll require 3 pastes, but also, which I think you may find easier, as a PDF document, a 2-page document, if you're so inclined that you may wish to consult after this. By way of concluding, I'd like to say that we've looked at various ways the law of vibration is applied in Rosicrucian exercises, and that this law is a very enriching one that helps bring us into a state of harmonium, which is healing in all levels of our being, in all our surroundings, and helps us attune with the cosmic. We've mentioned the hymn of Jesus and how it applies the law of vibration. Also, we've spoken of vibration, of visualization, and how we send forth an image as a vibrational phenomena that will interact with other vibrations to bring into manifestation. We've talked about the human aura as a vibration and psychic sensitivity on the different octaves that we can attune with, like in a crystal radio set selector. We've also talked about meditation as attuning with the cosmic and the highest rates of vibration for our well-being. Also, with metaphysical aid of sending out vibrations from the depth of our being, and the applications of vowel sounds and how they can be used as a vibrational phenomena that has impact ourselves and our surroundings. And also the Cycles of Life book. These and many more exercises are done in our weekly teachings of the Rosicrucians. Ultimately, this is all towards, we've continued Rosicrucian laws and principles in their application for self-mastery and service. Thank you very much for joining us today.